Good morning, subscribers, patrons, fans, followers, supporters, and generally anyone who happens to stumble across my videos. This is Johnson Blackhorse, and I'm just doing a random early morning digital art live stream because just need to take a break from the monotony of animating, and just figured just do some digital art, and may as well may as well may as well record it. I might just ooh, that's loud. I might just turn it into a speed paint later. I don't know. Haven't decided. It's too early in the morning to make these decisions. And right now I just have what I like to do is just play like Newgrounds audio in the backgrounds, since it's doesn't have any YouTube copyright claims and such, and just gives these artists a little bit of exposure. But right now I just have it on random audio, more or less pertaining to rock and heavy metal. But if you feel like listening or having like copyright free music in the backgrounds of your videos, or just want something interesting to listen to, like you can check out Newgrounds Audio. They got some pretty talented artists and musicians and such. Hmm. Oh yeah, I gotta schedule a sketchbook tour later today. Trying to figure out the foot placement. Okay. Oftentimes I'll use myself as reference and get into some of these poses to figure out where to place these lines. And Skullhead's here. How's it going? Yeah. I felt like doing like an early morning sketch to shake off the monotony of animating all these frames to prevent myself from going crazy. Because people say like insanity is repetition, and it's like constantly doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And that's very similar to what animators do. Is just like you're continuously drawing like similar poses one after another, expecting it to move. But the end result, once you have it all compiled together and like playing, it does. But the practice in and of itself is very similar to the definition of insanity. So I just had to back off for a little bit and just do like a freeform type of sketch. Yes, all animators by definition are freaking insane. Looked over at my YouTube feed and I thought that my webcam feed had frozen. It's just like I'm just sitting there, just very still, not moving, just so concentrated, or yeah, concentrate. Concentrated? Is that even a word? I don't feel like it is. It doesn't sound proper. Just well, concentrating so much on this one image that I'm not even moving. So I was under the impression that my webcam feed had frozen or something. Cal just arrived to the chat. Morning, Cal. Just felt like doing like an early morning stream. It's like I've been animating for like a couple of days now, and I just needed to shake off the monotony of just all the animated frames that I've been working on. So I decided to just do like a early morning sketch and figured like, hey, why don't I stream it? Why not? Just to further like illustrate like or I guess showcase my process of how I go about drawing. And squash some of the speculation or debate, if it still exists, on whether or not I use reference, which I'm not using for this image. The only form of reference I'm using is myself. Earlier in the video, I had to sit myself in this pose to figure out how to pose the feet and the legs. Yeah. Oh, Cal Larkin saying work was canceled, so he's free. Oh, cool.
drawing today. Woo! No way.
You going to live drawing today?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I committed to Tuesdays.
Oh, nice.
Got drawing again. Shit coming down the pipeline for commissions. Go next.
Cool.
Ah, fuck, I gotta check my email. I ain't check shit yesterday. Yes.
Ah, ah. Stupid sneeze tease. I hate it when you can like feel a sneeze coming and it's just right there on the precipice and then it just doesn't doesn't pop off. I call those sneeze teases. Oh, my knees. Sitting me stale for too long on an ottoman. That's what I sit in right now. It's like I don't have like a decent working chair to work in. All I have are folding chairs and a broken office chair. So until I can afford a new fancy office ergonomic office chair, like I just sit on an ottoman with a few pillows on it. It's pretty comfy. It's cozy. Like reminds me of the days I used to just draw sitting on the floor. Because I'll sit on the ottoman cross-legged and well with my legs cross-legged. That sounds weird. Or my legs folded. I'll sit I'll sit Indian style. That's it. I sit me style. I guess Skullet's chair broke too. Right now he's just using a chair he whittled out of wood. No, he's just using a wooden chair. I whittled together a chair out of scrap wood and toothpicks. I'm going to adjust her face in Liquify. Damn it. Yeah, that's looking better than it was. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Cal says he envies my expression. Yeah. Oh. It just I tend to do like a lot of like expression sketches, and this comes from just like doing a lot of that practice. And I would feel like, well, like I've said it before, like I just fill pages upon pages of just like expression sketches. Oh, this song sounds pretty cool. Who's this? This is a song on Newgrounds called Look at Me from the artist Josh Gawald. Josh Josh Gawaldo Music. Oh, excuse me. The eyes and expression make the piece. Also, JB look into Ko-Fi as another avenue for tip jars. I think someone brought that up like a while ago, and I looked up into it, but I didn't make an account. But yeah, I think I will. I looked into it, and they have like more or less the same policies as PayPal, but since they're um, unaware of my what's the term, infamousy. I think that mode of payment would be pretty good to have for a while, because I don't know what PayPal's problem is. It's like they did like a search of my name, and simply because I have pre-existing adult content, they refuse to have me do business on their platform. Like, oh, you have pre-existing adult material we don't agree with. We're not going to let you use our services. And fucking fuck you, PayPal. Fuck you and your brand of censorship. Like, if I want to conduct private business with consenting adults who want to pay me for my services of artistic renderings and such, that's our deal. For them to restrict my ability to earn money through their services, I find that as an unconstitutional practice of censorship, because it restricts me the freedom to capitalize on my own artistic endeavors. And PayPal restricts my access, claiming like, "Oh, we got to support our little community." It's like, what the fuck? It's not like I'm openly sharing like, or well, like yeah, openly sharing my like my artwork among your community. It's not like PayPal has like a public community to showcase this artwork. And the people in your quote unquote community are the people who are willing to pay me for my drawings. So just friggin' stay out of my business and shit. But yeah, like one of the reasons they restricted me, they linked me back to my DeviantArt account, and there's like not even any like pornographic drawings there. There's just like a bunch of furry art. Yeah, I think Patreon would give me some warning ahead of time before they nix my account. So this time around, I think I'm doing pretty good with releasing content that Patreon doesn't have any issue with at the moment. But they labeled my current Patreon as adult. It is, and I slightly have issue with that because I'm not drawing any porn, but then at the same time, like my drawings aren't really family friendly, I guess. And I wish they'd I guess I should suggest that hey, okay, so if you're gonna do this to my account, can't you like make a different kind of rating for me? Because right now all they have is like general and adult. So can't you have like a mature setting? Can't you make a mature classification? Because my stuff isn't really adult, but then at the same time it's not family friendly, admittedly. So maybe I should suggest like, hey, can you like make another rating for mature work? Because though the current work I have on there isn't isn't pornographic, so it should not be labeled as adults, because I find that that's misleading. Because when people visit my Patreon, like, oh, cool, like it's a restriction wall, age restriction wall. He must be making porn now, and they get there and just, I'm pretty sure they're disappointed. Is like, there's no pornography here. But then, you know, it wasn't my decision to label my Patreon as such. But then I don't feel like I have the grounds to contest it. I just feel like I find myself in somewhat of a disadvantage. Mispronunciating words is pretty fun. So I think I will go with the Ko-Fi. Do I have that written down already? No, I don't. I better make another note for it. Just because people find it difficult to pay me for my auctions and such. And if I can find a service that'll let me utilize a tip jar so people can just drop a few cents here and there, I think that'd be great. So maybe I'll get on that later today once I'm done here. Because I do not like this weird brand of censorship that continues to be prevalent nowadays. I mean, it's just a form of artwork. There's no harm in it. There's no immediate victim or anything of that nature. Like, what you're seeing is just a culmination of artistic lines to depict an image, and despite what that image depicts, it's just an expression of thought, no more, no less. And to regulate that is to impede on an expression of thought in and of itself, which goes against constitutional law, because there can be no law made that regulates thought. Yeah, exactly. And looks like we have a new addition to the chat. Cool Sam. Hey, how you doing, Sam? Cool Sam. Yes, I agree, Cal Larkin. Thought crimes are BS. And I think they should be abolished outright. But people refuse to recognize. All right, see you. Have a good one. Yeah. And people fail to recognize some of these laws for what they are, and they're just thought crime laws, which are horrendously unconstitutional. But people tend to err on the side of propriety, and is like, you can't generate laws that adhere to, or make other people adhere to, someone else's notions of morality or propriety, because you take away freedom of thought, you take away freedom of choice, all for the sake of another group's sense of sensibilities. It's like, fuck your sensibilities. You're you're violating the Constitution, like taking away people's liberties and their rights to um, engage in like artistic endeavors, or for other people to enjoy or partake in those artworks. Oh, man. I feel like I'm getting too preachy. I'm getting too preachy early in the morning. We gotta switch subject. We gotta switch gears. Oh, jeez. Um, but yeah, like I think later today I will make a Ko-fi account and link it to some of my websites and see if I can generate a tip jar, put it on my blog, advertisement on my DeviantArt for Affinity and Ink Bunny, and see if I can connect it to my YouTube. Just so like whenever I do these live streams, I can if people want to tip like tip me a few cents here and there, they can do so. And anything to supplement my income is like is very welcome. Because this month I'm just going to be scraping by until I can finish this animation I've been working on. Cal Larkin says, "How about that sports ball?" Trying to change topics. Nice. Cool Sam's asking, "How do I be a good like you at drawing?" It takes a lot of practice and dedication, but I do have a series dedicated to how to art or how to draw. I like to just call it how to art because it's just so improper, and it's fun to say. But I do have a how to art series on my YouTube, and with those videos, I go over the topic of how I learned to draw and what I utilize to draw, and some of the practices and such I do in order to um, keep my artistic talents sharp. But some of the things I repeat over and over, time and time again, is like you got to practice. You have to have that love of your art and the dedication to put in to practice as much as possible. And right now, like doing this random early morning digital live stream, it's just like me practicing. And I figured I might as well like do a live stream of it because you know, people are curious and such. And I just want to illustrate my process to further uh, extend the points, or I guess further hammer the point home that I require like little to no reference whatsoever. And for this piece, like the only reference I really utilized is just myself. Because earlier in the video, I had to put myself in this position just to figure out how to place this character's legs. Uh, so I just pretty much sat on my little ottoman here and put my legs in that pose. Just more or less figuring out where things go. So utilizing my own self as reference. Of course, you can't quite see me in that whole pose, but yeah, it's pretty much what I do. And one of the things I talk about when like learning how to draw is to just utilize what reference you have at hand, and what you have at hand is like your own yourself. So like say if you want to learn how to draw hands, like I would draw my own hands and just like fill pages upon pages with just like little hand studies where I'm using my own like hand as a model. So you can do that and keep up the practice or whatever. So it seems that Cool Sam has a gallery, but then there are some drawings he doesn't post. I'm assuming like they're probably rough sketches. Well, I guess it depends on what type of artwork you do. Like if you just draw personal artwork, you can post it on DeviantArt or just find like a particular gallery to post. You can even post on maybe your Facebook or if you have one, or Instagram or some other social website. But if you post something more specific, like maybe furry art or something, you can join like one of the furry forums, Fur Affinity or Ink Bunny. But yeah, if you generate like a specific genre of art, there are art forums that cater to specific genres. If you make furry art, like I said, Fur Affinity and Ink Bunny. But if you create lowly art, I'm told Low Licit is a lowly forum. I guess you can check out. And I don't know if it's around anymore. I haven't bothered to check, but there was one. Um, what was it called? Little Angels Hentai, or Pixiv. Pixiv is a good one. What? Pixiv is going to be banning Loli soon? That's going to suck. What's going to happen to all my art that I still have there? Yeah, I'm really not liking this brand of censorship that's going out. And I think we can blame obscenity laws for this garbage. And believe me, I think these obscenity laws are just hollow threats because they've been threatening to place new charges on me for my lowly art under natus underscore 01, but they haven't done it yet. And these obscenity laws are just freaking bullshit. And I think these obscenity laws are more or less hollow threats because they can't really go after people for just simple expressions of art. So I don't know why they felt it necessary to put these obscenity laws into place because getting down to it, they are unconstitutional. And the sentencing guidelines that govern these obscenity laws, they it doesn't work because the obscenity laws use the same sentencing guidelines as child pornography, and it requires a victim. It requires an actual victim, or you have to be led to believe that there is somehow a victim involved, um, meaning that there is an actual victim or like an undercover agent posing as a victim. But this is neither here nor there when dealing with obscene artworks, such as my artwork under the alias natus underscore 01. So you can't be charged for obscenity when there is no um, actual victim. And there are no victims in like lowly art or lowly con. For so like when they tried to make this obscenity law, and this obscenity law is called the Protect Act of 2003. It's bullshit, but I think they're still using it to like force websites and stuff to adhere to their overuse of censorship by claiming like, oh, we made this type of artwork illegal, so bow to our will or we'll press charges. But they really can't because um, they haven't pressed charges on me yet, and if they do, like the arguments are is like the sentencing guidelines have to have a victim, and there are no victims in my drawings. You fucking pissant government fucks. So if they do try to lay new charges on me, like it's gonna be pretty hilarious because like I don't know how they're gonna try to misconstrue it. They already misconstrued it in court because there was just like a lot of conjecture and supposition, and like I was dumbstruck as to how that was being utilized in court. It's like you can't really be serious, but I get the sense that they know that they fucked up in my case. So I doubt they're gonna try to press charges against me for this obscenity law. And I think sometime soon I'm gonna start pushing the issue and see what happens. Yeah, yeah, like I'm talking about recently they threw me back in prison over my artwork, and they were threatening to press new charges against me, but they haven't done it yet. Yeah, it does blow. But I think they're just bowing down to hollow threats because they don't want to risk it. But they are just hollow threats. I don't know. I don't know where Senkaku's servers are located, and other countries' obscenity laws may differ from ours. But the countries in the West, such as America, that make these obscenity laws, like all other countries, seem to follow suit. So if the U.S.'s obscenity law is abolished due to its unconstitutional nature, I think other company or countries would then follow suit and just like find that it's not correct and it's not proper to hold people to these ridiculously high standards, and the censorship of art is just something that just shouldn't be allowed. I mean, where we have to take it down first is the American obscenity law, because I think that's where other countries are beginning to mimic these laws, because the Western countries and their sense of propriety turning it into a freaking law is it all started in these in our Western countries. So as soon as we freaking get these laws off the books, especially the 2003 Protect Act, because it's bullshit garbage when it seeks to censor victimless artwork. Once we take that down, all this other censorship will begin to crumble as well. But right now, I don't think anyone's willing to stand against these hollow threats, even though they are hollow threats. Because after confiscating all my sketchbooks, my lowly sketchbooks and my lowly drawings, they haven't bothered to press any charges just yet, because I don't think they can. Because again, like these obscenity law, um, these obscenity laws are governed by the child pornography sentencing guidelines, and those guidelines require a victim, or you're led to believe that you're dealing with a victim, but that is neither here nor there in any of these fictional artworks. In my artwork as Natus_01, or any form of lowly or lowlycon, because again, they're all just fictional characters. So there is no actual victim. Um, right now they're just holding them. Like, I do plan to get them back, because they never should have taken my sketchbooks. Those freaking unconstitutional fucktard fucks. Ah, God, I'm so bitter about it. Oh, but I tell you what, vote for me as president, and I will abolish these ridiculous obscenity laws, and any government official or policing agent or authority responsible for taking part or being, was it, complicit in these unconstitutional laws will be held for high treason for violating the Constitution, because the Constitution is a document which should be held sacred in this country, but it's not. So as soon as we start treating it as such, I think all these unconstitutional acts will fall to the wayside. But those who are guilty of taking part in these unconstitutional practices will be punished, or it should be treated as a capital offense. Because if we don't hold these rights and liberties sacred in this country like no one else will, and Congress and the government will continue to trample over our constitutional rights and liberties, and we have to make it adamantly clear that we can't stand for that. So a vote for me as president is a vote for a freer America, for real liberty and freedom and true justice. And I'll see to it that any members of Congress, federal judges, or federal policing agencies who are complicit in these unconstitutional acts will be held fully accountable for their transgressions against the American Constitution and the suffer capital punishment for these un-American, unconstitutional acts. Vote for Black Horse 2020. Let's take America back again. Oh, who's this artist? Song called Pekka from an artist called Control Brain. Wow, Scarlett's got to head out. Hmm. Also had another thought, like earlier this week, I believe, like all this social, or all this SGW nonsense that's been going on, I'm beginning to believe it's some sort of government psyop. Like, sure, like some of the SGW outrage is being perpetrated by freaking SJW idiots, but I think some of it is being purposefully initiated as a government psyop in order to justify some of these unconstitutional laws that they're enacting. And I don't believe it's too far fetched. And as we can see, is like we all know that the war on drugs is bullshit. But the thing is that the war on drugs was the government's main cash cow when filling up their prison system. But since that's going to the wayside and like everyone is acknowledging it for the farce that it really is, the government's shifting the war on drugs to the war on sex, which pretty much is the environment that we're in nowadays. Is like people are getting in trouble for like sexual misconduct, this and that, blah blah blah, and that's all it is that they're shifting the focus from the war on drugs because it's failing. It was a failed endeavor to begin with, but it took a while for it to fail, and they're merely just shifting the focus, and they're continuing to do so with this SJW movement psyop in order to justify. I think we're going to start getting like more ridiculous overbearing laws down the road. And it's like pretty much up to us to like call out this bullshit for what it is. Exactly. Cal Larkin says you don't have to do anything that would get you charged criminally for your life to be over. Yeah, we have so many ridiculous laws in place right now that everyone in American society as a whole, like you're either one of two people. You're either a convicted felon or a potential felon, and that's it. And people are just completely unaware of that fact. But anyway, yeah, just getting off that topic because it's getting pretty heavy and just like friggin' it's frustrating. It's very frustrating to say the least. Oh, I guess Cal Larkin was asking me art questions. I wasn't paying attention. Um, let's see. He says, "Okay, JB, coloring for me is a huge time sink. Tell me what is your standard for coloring?" Honestly, I don't really color all too often. Like, I don't think I have much of an informed opinion on that matter. Because usually I'm coloring in RL, utilizing like colored pencils and Copic markers. So it's not like I have too much insight or a preference for it. Because it's not something I actually go about practicing all too much, but I figured I may as well just like throw on some quick colors. Um, Reading on, how do you feel good about it? Identity nut jobs infiltrated all news, media, and other pastime to ruin them. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this SJW nonsense has got to stop. I mean, the SJW movement in and of itself is a practice of contradiction because they're utilizing the freedom of speech to quiet somebody else's freedom of speech. And that is just something that is, it's a ridiculous notion and just shouldn't be allowed. Anyway, going on, the war on deviancy, pretty much. You don't have to do anything that would, yeah, it's creating a men and women, yep, divided. Like that Walking Dead guy, his angry ex came out of the allegations to get him fired. Why didn't she go to the police? Common sense. Yeah, I heard about that too. It's like fucking ridiculous. I mean, you're just stirring up drama to make yourself look like the victim and making an attempt to ruin someone else's life. Where if you had legitimate legal concerns for your safety, like you should have gone to the police right off the bat. I mean, it's just a veiled attempt to ruin your ex's life because you're a bitch. And believe me, I've already had that happen to me, and it's just fucking bullshit. Uh, yeah, I'm a mixed media kind of guy. Cal Arkin saying they teach this BS in college pertaining to like social justice and everything. And my sister drank the Kool-Aid and she's wrong and obnoxious. I do not envy you. It's like I'm glad the majority of my relatives are level-headed individuals, and they don't partake in that nonsense or that drama. Is like fucking if they're kind of like the whole like no blood no foul, like no harm no foul type sense. Oh shit. Whew. Yeah, my laptop ran out of juice. I had to plug it back in. Yes, we're back again. Sorry about that. My laptop doesn't warn me when it's about to shut down. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, I can only imagine. What happened to Black Horse? Oh no! Was it an alien invasion? Was it an EMP? What's going on? Oh, excuse me. Oh man, swatting would be a hell of a thing. That'd really suck if like someone out there was so vindictive about like what I was saying or my artwork that they felt like they were justified in attempting to swat me. That would suck. And shame on that individual for like wasting like resources for their little petty thoughts or whatever. But yeah, knock on wood. Like it's just like hoping that that scenario never happens because I don't want to get shot. I ain't got time for that. Yeah, I heard that. Like someone died in a swatting incident, and I hope the people responsible were eventually caught and had to face criminal charges for the loss of life that took place in that incident. I mean, like people do it as a joke, but you're seriously playing with fire in that instance because there's like real guns and live ammunition present in that scenario. Is like, how can you treat that as a joke? I mean, you're putting someone's life in jeopardy when you swat them, and it's just not a very funny scenario, especially when someone loses their life. Scarlet says he notices I do the shading before moving on to other colors. Well, just like laying down some rough shades. I'm just like, whoops, shit. I'm just playing around right now. It's been a while since I've colored digitally, and I'm just like, this is just more or less me just warming up or practicing. Oh, excuse me. All right, see you later, Skullhead. He's got to head off. Skullhead's got to head off to work. I'll be doing a sketchbook tour later today. Just letting you know. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna hold on. I had to grab some more coffee. Hmm. Oh, just reading some of this chat. Carl Larkin says, "So what is Natus supposed to be? Is he based off of Anon?" Um, Not really based on anything. Just kind of had like this idea of just having a blank-faced expression, just with the signature across his face. But I guess you could say he's like got this somewhat of a anonymous inspired persona to him, and um, I think my sister asked me like something pretty similar to that. Is like what are all my uh, pseudonyms based on? And let me see. Where did I put that sketch? I have no idea where I put that sketch. But talking about all my pseudonyms, like, well, there's me, for instance, and for myself, I'm just a little caricature of of me. Natus has this whole like anonymous type persona to him. B-Hawk is an anthropomorphic black hawk. Rule 34 Rocks looks somewhat of like a bandana wearing like a masked anarchist or something of that nature. Just, geez, I wish I knew where I put that sketch. Art, birthday, Patreon level, video, dimensions. Is it in here? No. Wait. I think this is it. There we are. I gotta redraw B-Hawk. Like that is just not it. But yeah, there's me, there's Natus, there's B-Hawk, and then there's Rule 34 Rocks. And my sister had asked me like what had inspired me to like create my pseudonyms in that fashion. And in order of appearance, that's pretty much how it is. Like first there was me, and then there was Natus. Like he came about like toward the end of high school, my high school years. But then I put Natus on hiatus, seeking a relationship, and and my conversations with my potential girlfriend, who became my girlfriend, and then eventually my ex. Like she was very anti-lowly, so I put Natus into retirement, and then B-Hawk came about because she had introduced me to the world of furry art and just got me keen on the fact that as a furry artist, you can make a lot of money. So that's when B-Hawk came about. And then after me and my ex had our falling out and we broke up, and she stated that she never wanted to see my artwork again, I deleted all my accounts for the most part and bent to her wishes and friggin' retired from the internet more or less. But then I needed money. And because of her fucking extortion of me, like extorting in the total amount of around $20,000, like fucking, I needed to make ends meet. So I created Rule 34 Rocks. And as you can see, he seems like a very like uh, uh, a secretive character, and like it was just like it wasn't intentional, like putting a mask on him and whatever, because I just did it as a random decision, like a random choice to draw him as such. But then my sister kind of like brought the idea about, it's like, oh, so you like your pseudonym was like he's disguising himself because he was like my secret character that I created on the side in order to supplement my income through furry art. And like I never thought of it in that sense. So it does make sense. Like he looks like a disguised like undercover character, and that's pretty much what he was. Because through my ex's extortion demands, like I was I was borderline destitute, and I jumped back into making furry art using Rule 34 Rocks. I created them out of necessity. and he was um, just a random character that I created and a random pseudonym. And yeah, he was created out of necessity to continue my work as a furry artist, just so I could continue living and so I could continue paying my ex her extortion money, or the money that she was extorting me for. Fucking bitch. But yeah, that's the gist, or like the story behind all my pseudonyms. Uh-huh. Ugh. Ugh. Well, it's 8:30. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start getting ready for the day. Take a shower, get dressed, do a little bit of laundry, and get cracking on some actual work. So, thanks to all those who participated in this early morning stream. I'm wondering about just doing more of them in the future, just to, I guess, have some sort of like early morning art exercise or something. So, yeah, we'll see in the later future. Yeah, take care of yourself, Kyle Larkin. Oh, wait, didn't quite see some of these other comments. It says, well, regardless, it's always good to hear the history behind people's names. Oh, I guess about my pseudonyms, my multiple pseudonyms. I'm happy with Horn Pariah. I think it will be a better fit than my last names. Oh yeah, I know that name. I think you mentioned that before, and yeah. So yeah, thanks for all those who participated in the chat. Cal Larkins, Skullhead, and also welcome to some of the new participants in the chat. Hope to see you again in the future. Um, cool Sam and where is he? What was that last night? This other guy came in. Yeah. Yeah, I can't see him, so it must have been last night's stream. Like all this information is like blending together. Anyway, thanks to you guys and those who are just tuning in on a later date. If you want to support the creation of more videos like this or more art content from me, I have a Patreon website, which is linked in the description section below. Go ahead and check it out. I got a lot of free content there, and if you like what you see, think about hitting that become a patron button. And once you become a patron, you'll have more access to some of the other artworks that I have there, like full resolution scans, as well as uh, Photoshop files and After Effects files and stuff that I utilize to make some of the artwork that you see there. And don't let the Patreon fool you, like with the whole age restriction thing. Like I don't have anything pornographic there, but it's not suitable for all audiences. So I guess I don't have much room to argue. But just to let you know that let you know ahead of time that there isn't any like anything there that is just pornographic. And if Patreon's not your thing and you still want to contribute, I do have a GoFundMe account, so you can go there, donate some money, and I'm going to look into this Ko-Fi me later, and hopefully I'll make that another feature in the future. A feature in the future. And I'm also a member of DeviantArt, Furfinity, and Ink Bunny. So if you're a member of any of those sites, go ahead and start following me or watching me. And if you want to reach out, you can like leave a comment here or go to any of those other websites and send me a message or a note. Just let me know your thoughts or your ideas, give me suggestions, or just all around just tell me how you feel or whatever. I'm a pretty easygoing guy, you know, and uh, well, at least I consider myself to be. But yeah, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe if you would like to. So I guess that'll be it for this video, and I'll be on later today to do a sketchbook tour. So I'll see you guys then, and like always, I'll check y'all later. Sweet. Bye.